Hello, everyone. Hello. We are our TIN and Inclusivity. We're back with another podcast. Today, we'll be talking about mental health as it relates to relationships. So this is our second one. I'm so excited to be partnering with Inclusivity. So Shelby, Kaylin, do you want to say a few words before we get started?
Yes. Well, we're happy to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Shelby Hicks. I'm a second-year psychology pre-med major, leadership studies minor, attending the illustrious Hampton University. And I'm a co-founder of Inclusivity, where our goal is to educate the community on social issues, as well as mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual health through fun activities.
All right. Yes. Go ahead, Kaylin.
And my name is Caitlin Simmons. I'm also a co-founder, and relationships is very important, especially when it comes to mental health, because how you go into a relationship, friendship, family, whatever, it still takes a part in your mental health. So just keep that in mind.
Definitely. And I feel like last week we touched on a lot about mental health and social media, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm excited this week to be back. Definitely excited to be back talking with you all and kind of get the conversation going so that we can make this a normal thing within our community. So let's just jump right into it. So mental health with relationships. Where do we want to go? We can start with family, friends. We can start with boyfriend, girlfriend. How has Do you want to start with examples, personal examples?
I think we should start with family. I feel like your family influences how you act and how you look at romantic relationships. I think the key is to start with like your roots.
I would agree with that for sure. Like the family at the dinner table, that's really where you learn to kind of navigate through life. And if your home relationship, family relationship isn't popping, then I feel like none of your other relationships will be either.
Especially nowadays too, because a lot of people are living with their family. So having a healthy relationship and making sure you're in a healthy environment, like communicating with your family, is important.
Yeah, I agree. Just thinking back on how people's behavior is, especially like my behavior or something like that. I go back and look at my childhood. Childhood, you're raised with your family. I mean, you're like around family, you're raised by your family and things like that. So the relationship that you had with them and the environment you were around ultimately affects how you are growing up. That's how you end up being as an adult. Whatever you've gone through as a child reflects you as an adult. Nine times out of 10.
I also think another point is I've actually heard some people say because of how I grew up, I'm like this, meaning like because of what I've seen or because of what I saw others do, this is why I'm not going to do that. And I think that that's also a key point that sometimes people, and I think that also has to do with kind of what we talked about yesterday, whether it's like social media or just like the norms, sometimes they divert from how they grew up. And that can either be in a positive or a negative light. So I think that that's also interesting too, that some people divert from actually what they were taught, good or bad.
Yeah, definitely. I think you navigate through life just learning, using the lessons that you've learned as a child. So whatever you've learned within your family, that's kind of what pushes you to behave in specific ways. But specifically with mental health, and when we think about specific things, whether it be anxiety or maybe just the way that you look at yourself, kind of going back into that social media aspect, perspectives. What are your thoughts on like family shaping that and relationships in general shaping that?
Oh, well, I think like, especially it depends on people's relationship with their family and friends and stuff. And it depends on if they have like a healthy relationship, whether that's, everyone's view of a healthy family relationship is different. I know I spend a lot of time with my family, watch movies and stuff, and that's just something that we do to stay like united and bonding and stuff. other people might not do that. They may just have a family, everyone sit at the table Sunday, or we go on a trip once a month. So I feel like it varies on having a healthy family relationship. But I think communication is good. It's like key for having like a healthy relationship, any healthy relationship, friends, relationships, family, whatever. And being able to know that the people you're around you can talk to without feeling judged and stuff. Because I feel like if people feel judged and stuff, they're not going to want to open up and talk to someone, because they're like, I wonder how they're going to see me after I tell them that they're gay or something. So it depends on having like a good family relationship with the people, like having a good relationship with the people that you surround yourself with.
And it's really piggybacking off what Caitlin said, that ties a lot into your mental health, because it can either make it really, really good, or it can make it really, really bad. So I think it's very important. One thing that we always encourage at Inclusivity is, to talk. And like Caitlin said, if you do not have that person within your family to talk to, especially now with the pandemic, we're all locked in the house, it can really take a toll on your mental health and affect it in numerous ways. And I also think that if you're not able to talk to your family, that's kind of when you get into those silent modes, meaning I internalize my pain, as our generation talks a lot about. They don't speak on their pain, and that can also cause a whole bunch of a whole bunch of other different problems relating to lifestyle, how you treat others, and everything. So it most definitely plays a big role in your mental health.
Especially like too, when they don't feel safe in their own environment. This leads to suicide. Like now, especially now, people are like locked up in their house. Like they can't go out, they can't see their friends, because they don't want to get COVID. And so it could take a toll, especially if they don't feel like they're in a safe environment to talk to someone. And this could lead to suicide. A lot of people have been dying because of suicide.
Yeah, one thing that I can say from like personal experiences, depending on which of your friends you talk to, or depending on which friends you're around, it's a different environment. Even with family, like, speaking on the holidays, you get around aunt talk too much, and she just is going. It's like, be quiet. I don't want that energy around me. I don't need that right now. My mental health, I don't need it. So it's definitely important to pay attention to surround yourself around people who are actually uplifting for that, and are actually positive and uplifting. And that goes even with entrepreneurship and your business, having friends in the Black, within our community, making sure that we are uplifting each other. And I think that's kind of where it goes from. If someone feels like their family doesn't provide that, or isn't able to, give that foundation of what support and positive energy is like, being able to network with like-minded people is really important too. So I definitely think it extends far beyond the family, but the family is definitely the foundation.
And I just try to do some research real quick while we were on the call, but I couldn't find the exact numbers. But I found it interesting that Caitlin had mentioned suicide rates and things like that, because I didn't even think about how much the numbers have increased since like the beginning of this year. I'm pretty sure the numbers are off the roof, because just think about in children. Let's just think about children, or people that's in abusive relationships and things like that. They're in the house, and that's where that negative energy is. And that's when they're going through their hard times, but they finally get that relief when they're going to school or when they're going to work. And now you're telling them that they can't even leave the house. They can't go to school. They can't go to work. They can't go out with their friends just to have that moment out of that environment. And they're stuck there. I can only imagine how much the rate of suicide has gone up, or the depression rates. And I know that the pseudopharmacal, I know that they having a ball getting money off of these people.
Yeah, and also, I was gonna that not only it's like suicide rates, depression, but I think overall just anybody that doesn't know how to correctly like that's why they talk so much when it comes to mental health about outlets, how you deal with your problems, because the reality is the world doesn't stop. We all still have problems. Just because of the pandemic going on, life isn't perfect. So it's still like now, like you guys are saying, on top of having problems in the household, now you're stuck in the house, like what you, so now you can't go anywhere. So those outlets, like you said, like for some children it was like playing sports, you don't have that anymore. So I can also imagine that, as well as substance abuse and things of that are probably skyrocketing and very, very high, because it's like you don't really have much else to do. And for those, you know, that are in school, adding school on top of the other stressors, yeah, maybe we're not physically going to work, but that's already stressful. Usually when you're on campus, you can de-stress through different things. Now it's like, what is there really to do? I mean, talking can only go but so far, you know? So I think that overall, even if, let's say, you didn't even have like problems, now I think as a whole, everybody's mental health has kind of taken a toll. So the key is to try to stay positive as much as you can. But I can only imagine, you know, for someone who also has a bad home life too, I know it's got to be hard.
Especially like now, because I don't think schools or jobs provide people with the resources they need to get like the help that they need, like especially because everything's going, like people are getting fired, laid off and stuff, and like there's resources that they don't know about because they're not being shown it. Like they don't know that there's probably like somewhere that where they could do you know, food banks like what you guys did, or like you know, just talking to someone, going somewhere where they could talk, a support group and stuff. But they don't know that that's there for them. So I think people need to be able to like know the resources that can be provided for them. But yeah, and this all plays a part in friendships too. Because I think like friendships is important in making sure you have like a healthy friendship, making sure you're not around a whole bunch of toxic people who bring you down, especially in college. Like you learn, like in college, you learn who is your friend and who's not. Who wants to, like in reality, as you get older and stuff, you're gonna learn who is there for you, rooting for you, or who wants to see you fail. Like, and it's just having to build healthy relationships and making sure you're in a good mind space when you're going through that.
Yeah, I feel like your situation can be vividly different depending on who's around you. So if you're in a tough spot and you have like, you know, toxic people or something like that, that's just going to keep pushing you down. And of course, like it's going to be very difficult to come out of that situation or that mind space. But again, if you have positive people around feeding you that positivity, then I feel like it'll be very, very different in that regard.
So I have a question. What about if you have a toxic person in your life that you really can't get rid of, like they're not going anywhere? How do you deal with that? How your mental, yes, your mental comes first. You have to put yourself first. You have to protect yourself. But at the end of the day, this person is not going nowhere. So how do you go about that? Like your parents aren't going anywhere, or like you have a child and your child is leashing off of you, and you always putting drama because of your child. Or how about your baby daddy? Like your baby daddy not going nowhere. Just people like that. How do you get around that?
I would say, and I know, of course, this is probably a lot easier said than done, but I think that's where boundaries come into play. I know, like, personally, I've been through some different situations that were not necessarily the best for me. And at that point, like, I don't know, like, I know everybody's heard the term, like, love from a distance. And by distance, I don't mean physical distance, because you can't always get physical distance, but it's just like not allowing that person to keep hurting you in the same area. It's just like, for instance, if someone's physically hitting you, you're not gonna let them keep physically hitting you. So I would say it's the same, just creating those boundaries. So let's say if a person doesn't necessarily accept the way you live your life, then you're probably not going to sit and share your life with them in the aspects of what you do and what you have done. That just can't be the person that you go to. If that person's kind of toxic, then you wouldn't go to them and tell them good news. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're going to bring you down. So I would say something I'm still learning in life, because I was an all or nothing person, meaning either you're 100%, I can do everything with you, we're cool, or I go to never talking to you again. And you have to learn in life, you can't always do that with everyone. So you have to learn to take people for what they are and start to set those like boundaries. Maybe not physically, but like mentally set those boundaries with people.
That's a good point, because I know for a fact I'm like that too. I'm bearing off of that. But I definitely was like that, where if you just seem toxic, I don't want to be around you at all. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. But in reality, it's just some people that you have to have at least a little bit to do with them, because you will need them in the future, or whatever the case may be. And just to outright cut people off, like me, if I was to have it from a few years back, I would be on this earth by myself with nobody. But that's not reality. In reality, we all need each other. We're human beings on this earth, and we need each other regardless of the situations and how we act towards each other or anything like that. We need each other. And that was a good point that you said. We know that we need each other, so we just need to face the fact that, hey, we need to take people how they are and set them boundaries. And I never looked at it as setting boundaries. That was a good point.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is a good point. I was also going to say, like, your mental health is like your responsibility. So it's like when it comes to other people, whatever you have to do, it's like to protect your mental health. It's like that's just what you have to do. So I do like that you made that point as well, Shelby.
Yeah, boundaries is important, because I know, I know I have boundaries, and I know I have a couple of friends where I know I can't do something with. Like, if I want to go skydiving, I know I'm not going to call Simone and Tyrone. Like, I'm not going to call them to go skydiving with me, because that's just something that they're not going to do. But if I want to go skiing or something, like, those would be the people to call. And it's just being able to find people who you could do activities with that would be fun. Like, you should, like, me personally, I don't think you should dread hanging out with someone. Or if your friend is calling you, you shouldn't look at your phone and be like, oh, why are they calling me? Because, like, at that point, I mean, yeah, you can do it sometimes. But, like, all the time just dreading a call or something, like, that's not a healthy relationship. And you shouldn't be put in a situation where you're dreading someone's call.
Yeah, I definitely think some people do get comfortable just based on knowing somebody for a certain time or something like that. But I feel like after high school, it was just kind of like, if you didn't see people all the time, I mean, even in college too, like not seeing people every single day, it makes you like kind of evaluate that relationship that you have with them to say like, well, what are you adding to my life? What benefit do you have for me? And I don't want to say that you should look at relationships as just, well, what can you offer me? Like, what is it that you're bringing to the table? But I mean, it has to be a little bit of something, because there has to be some type of exchange between us. So if you are lacking in something, then it's like, well, let me fill you up in that way. And then vice versa. I may be lacking in something, and then you can teach me as well. But I think that's important to keep a relationship kind of steady and growing.
Yeah, that is a relationship. It's relationships is an exchange. It's a partnership. Like, that's what it is. We have to take it for what it is. And if you're not adding nothing to my life, then what are you here for it? You don't have to necessarily add materialistic things or money or anything like that, but what are you adding to my life? Are you entertaining me, bringing in good energy, supporting me, motivating me, showing me love, making sure that I'm healthy? Like, what are you doing for me? And if you're not doing anything, then why are you here?
Yeah, I have a couple of points to make. I guess the first one that I'll make is that like you guys said, it is an exchange. That's literally how a relationship works. If you're not, like you guys said, if you're not adding anything to my life, what's your purpose? Like, I'm not trying to stay here, I'm trying to go up. So if you're not trying to go up, then I think my second point is that Caitlin mentioned something about like knowing each other, or somebody mentioned something about knowing each other for a time period. And I think the biggest misconception is that people equate time with like time to mean something. In my opinion, like, there are some people that stay in these relationships, whether platonic, romantic, and say, well, we've been together for 3 years, so I don't want to quit now. But it's like, if it's a toxic relationship, maybe you should have quit months ago. And it's way easier said than done, because I've even been in stuff where it was like on and off for 4 years. Next thing you know, it's 4 years that's passed by, and what am I doing? Still here. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is really important, that we often, it's hard to do, but to step back and truly evaluate, why are these people here, and is it healthy for me? Because you'll find that you're carrying some dead weight. And I think the third thing that I wanted to talk about was, a lot of people think that having a lot of friends means something, and or people rather take quantity over quality. And I think that that's another thing that kind of ties within like time is, it's okay to have that one. My mom always says, if you're blessed with one good friend in your life, then you're truly blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need five, six, seven friends who aren't really your friends over that one good friend. So I would say really take the time to get to know people, but as well, don't hold on to people because you don't want to be able to say, oh yeah, I only got one friend. You know what I'm saying? So I know I said a lot, but that was just my spiel.
No, the 2 points you made, like, that's good. Even with having, like, when you say you're in a relationship for like 4 years and stuff, like, you should have that one good friend that you're able to talk to, even friend, family member, cousin, whatever, that you're able to talk to, that they're able to make you level-headed. So they'll be able to say, okay, so you were in this situation, and you can either go this way or this way. Like, it's always good to have one friend that's level-headed that you could talk to, and you could like appreciate their opinion and advice. Because like, if we're in the situation, we're not going to know like it's bad for us. Like Shelby said, like, it's dragged on for 4 years. We're not going to know it's toxic for us. And having that one friend to let us know like this is bad, like they're abusive or they're manipulative, and for them to talk like common sense, like that's like common sense to you, that's good, because that's helping you realize like, okay, what you're saying is true, and this isn't good on my mental health. Like, I need to change it. And so having that one key person is very helpful.
I would say another important thing is like trust, just kind of going into what you said, Caitlin. You have to trust like that one level-headed person, because a lot of times it can be interpreted negatively, and it's just like, it's not even like that. It's something where I'm trying to look out for you. This is my honest, genuine opinion, and you have to be able to trust that. But at the end of the day, it's also, like I said, on one person to decide on what their behavior is and decide on what they'll do, but definitely having to trust those around you would help in realizing those situations.
Piggybacking off what you said, you said that level-headed person. Hold on, I just literally just lost my thought. I just lost my thought. Oh, trust. Nope, I lost my thought. I'm so sorry. What did you say again?
I was basically saying how you have to trust the people that's around you. You said level headed. So basically going back to a person that's level-headed and that's speaking the truth at you, you may interpret it a different way. And you were talking about that?
Yeah. I was going to say, me personally as a person, I actually find that sometimes I'm a person that gives my opinion, you know, and I actually found that in certain situations and relationships, not everybody wants your opinion. So that's one thing that I was going to kind of bring to the table and ask you guys is like, was it hard for you guys growing up, especially now, especially when you're talking to your friends, like let's say they're talking about this guy or whatever and you're giving your opinion and you find that they don't even want your opinion for real, like they just want like a listening ear. So has that been hard for you guys to find like that distinction, because not everybody can really handle the truth? So I'm wanting to ask you guys that.
I think it depends on the friend, and then the situation as well. So if I ever do find myself in a situation where they're like, I'm just going to talk, and then like I offer a suggestion or something like that, and it's not really received or it's kind of like ignored, I'm just like, okay, I'll just, try and just be the best listener that I can be, just because I feel like that may be what they need at that point. And then they may be able to go home, sleep on it, and then they have like a action plan or whatever to deal with the situation already. But if it's something that's kind of like reoccurring, then it kind of gets a little bit annoying, if not for real annoying, because it's kind of like, all right, like as much as I care and I don't want to see you in a situation, it's kind of like, I mean, what more, what more could I do, or what more can I really say to help alleviate the situation?
Yeah, I feel that like from the opposite end with getting advice, I know there will be a couple times where I'm trying to like I'm getting advice from Shelby, and she's like, "Don't do that, don't do that. You should do this." And I'm listening to her advice. I'm like, "Okay, yeah," but I want to do the other thing. Like that's really good advice, but I don't want to do that. And it's like it's just a live and learn experience. And then I do regret it after I'm like, dang, I should have listened to Shelby. But it's like sometimes you just gotta learn on your own, but you gotta make sure that you listen to the advice and you like process it too. So like, and I also like I plan everything. Like in my head, I picture out how the conversation's gonna go, what I'm gonna do. If this happens, this is happen. Like I plan everything before it happens. Overthinking, yes, that's me. But like I also know, like, I know when I'm wrong and I can admit when I'm wrong, but sometimes it's hard for people. I know it's hard for people, like a lot of people, to admit when they're wrong and when to admit, like, they're just not right in the situation. And I think being able to listen and heed other people's advice is key.
Yeah, I'm just like that as well. Trinell, that's my best friend, so she knows for a fact that I'm the type of person who really wants to just be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going through something or I have an issue, I'm not really calling for advice. I'll ask for your suggestion or ask like what you think about it. But that's only because, I do want another person's opinion. I love opinions. But, I take the opinion when I'm asking for it. Because a lot of the times, like, I have other people who want to give opinions and who wants to give advice. And then when I don't take it, they get angry. They don't like the fact that I didn't listen to them. But it's like, hold on now. I have mentally, I say that, I'm living my life at the end of the day. And mentally, I need to, hold on. Sorry, go ahead, y'all.
Yeah, you definitely got to do what works for you. Nia's not lying. Like, Nia will call me and just be venting. I'm like, okay, go ahead, get it out. I know. And then it's always also there to support, because it's like when it's your friend, you feel those emotions too. So it's like, like whatever the tea is. But definitely. But another thing with going into that is also just being patient. And of course, what works for you may not work for other people as well. So that's a good point. Just taking in a lot of different perspectives and saying, okay, well, you know what? I got the information and I guess this is what works best for me. That's a good point to say as well.
So my question, like I'm curious for you guys, like what you guys' definition of like a healthy relationship? Because we've been talking so much about, you know, negative relationships and stuff. What is y'all definitions of like healthy relationships, and what should it be giving?
Me personally, I feel like a healthy relationship is where like I feel like I could talk about something and not feel judged. Because the moment I start feeling judged and stuff, that's when I like shut down, and I shut down easily. So someone where I could communicate with and like just not feel judged. That to me, any relationship like that is, for me, is healthy.
Yeah, I say the same. Just communication is like key. So being able to openly communicate, be vulnerable with a person, I think that's a very big thing. And then that goes into like the mental health, not internalizing feelings, just actually being able to speak on those. I'm trying to think. I feel like it's more stuff, but I'll come.
For me, I feel like a healthy relationship is one that, I mean, like I'm a really what's the word? Like I like my mind, like I like to think, and well, it's kind of crazy because when I make decisions, I actually don't think, I just do. Um, but on the other end, I'm the type of person that likes a challenge. I like to be challenged mentally, just when thinking about different things. So a healthy relationship to me is one that challenges me spiritually, mentally, physically, because Lord knows I need to work out more. And basically in all those areas, but it challenges me for the better, like not, you know, toxic, but just something that really just pushes me. And that can be platonic and or romantic, I feel like, and someone that's not afraid to tell me the truth, because I'm big on telling the truth. So I actually need someone that, you know, can tell me the truth and not gonna have me out here, you know, looking stupid. Because like Kaylin said, when it's you, you don't really see it, you know, versus someone else on the outside looking in. So for me, I think everyone knows that the people that I lean on heavily. I'm still working on being an all or nothing person, and I do value their opinions, and sometimes I need those, like, tell me, what is it, you know? So yeah, that's what a healthy relationship looks like for me.
How do y'all feel? Oh, Nia, did you want to weigh in on that?
No, I'm sorry. I'm getting my car fixed.
Okay. How do y'all feel about like the consistency of, I guess, communication or talking? So how do you feel about the relationships where you're not really talking maybe every day? Maybe it's just like how often should someone communicate with a friend relationship and then an actual dating relationship, which I think?
That question is geared to the wrong person, personally, for me. Because like I love my friends, and I hope they know that I love them, but I don't talk to them every day nor every week, maybe at once every other month. But like they they still know that I'm there for them. I know one of my friends I haven't talked to since third grade, she FaceTimed me yesterday, and we were just talking on the phone like for hours. And it's like, I hope all my friends know that like I am there. Yeah, I'm not big on like talking every day, because that's just not me. That's probably the introvert talking. But they know that I'm there if they need me. Like, I'm not saying this will happen, but you know, they were to get in an incident and were to be in jail or something, they know that I'll be there to back them up, to help them. Because like that's just who I am. Like, yeah, I may not seem like it because I don't talk to them every day, and I don't need to talk to someone every day for them to for me to know that they're still my friend. But it's just like making sure that I have like meaningful interactions with them, so they do know that like they care, like that I care for them.
Yeah, I literally don't have any friends. Like, they're all best friends. I have only best friends, and that's because I've known these people either from like Trinell, I know her since pre-K. You know, my other friends since elementary school, middle school, and you know, things like that. They're best friends. I don't really have regular friends, because, you know, that comes with trial and error. That comes with obstacles and situations. And I don't know, I think a lot of people confuse friendships with associates, because in my eyes, associates are the people that you greet, you talk to a little bit, y'all can share some stories and things like that. But your friends is the people that you share memories with, and that you share, like, you are sharing the stories, not telling the stories too. You know what I'm saying? And so my best friends, I know for a fact that they have my back through thick and thin. I know for a fact that they're going to be there for me. There's no question about it. That's why they're my friends. They're family. You know what I'm saying? They're not just friends, they're family. And that's really important to me when it comes to relationships, because I don't know, just from 1997 all the way to 2020, trust done became real hard like, throughout them years. So just meeting somebody new and trying to trust people, I find it very difficult. So just having those people that I know is my family and I can trust all the time, that's important.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, Nia. For me, it's okay. I would say I'm similar to Kayla in the aspect of I do not have to talk to you every day as my friend. I don't. The only reason why I talk to Kaylin every day is because we run a business together. But before we ran the business together, it would be FaceTime calls here and there. And I actually find that because a lot of my friendships started with me seeing you every day and talking to you every day and those types of things, a lot of times my friends see it as me becoming distant and have a lot more problem with me not talking to you every day. But it's like, no, it's just you have what you have going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to be sitting on the phone just talking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So when it comes to that, some of my friends, they hate that I'm like that. But I will say when it comes to like a romantic relationship, oh yeah, communication all the time. I mean, I understand we're busy, we're getting older, but it still needs to be a line of communication. Like, well, hey, I'm gonna be busy. I'm gonna be busy. So I'll talk to you later. But some males be having that all messed up. Like, you cannot just go MIA for 12 hours and think that I'm gonna just be cool when you call me. Like, what? Like,
Man, say that again one more time for the people in the back that can't hear you.
I said, no, let me stop. No, but seriously, males do be having that messed up. Like, they will literally sit up here, go MIA for 12 plus hours, call you like everything is okay. And it's just like, as females, we worry. We may act like we not worried, but we still are thinking about you. So it's just like, you got to learn how to communicate. But that's just from the romantic side. The platonic side, it's like, girl, unless you in trouble, you know.
Facts.
Not unless you're in trouble. I do have a few friendships where I do talk to people on like a constant. Oh wait, Shelby. Oh, Shelby, are you frozen or is it me? Okay, I think it. Okay, but y'all can hear me, right, Caitlin? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So yeah, I do have some friendships where I talk to them every day, or well, not every day, but pretty much every week. And it's like we a little bit more acquainted with what's going on. But I feel like with those friendships, it's like I don't know. It's just something that's kind of been a little bit more accustomed, and that's like my support system. So if it's something crazy that happened that day, it's like, look, let me tell you this, da 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 da. But that also comes to me just talking to my boyfriend, telling him like, look, let me tell you about what happened today. I gotta stress, I gotta vent, whatever. But yeah, that 12 hours. If I'm texting you in the middle of the day and you're not responding, it's kind of like, like, what? Hello, like at least if I know your schedule, usually we're good, but look, if you're not scheduled to do nothing, what's going on? That's kind of how I
Like,
view it.
guys don't be catching on like like, sir, like, I know your pattern. Like, I know what you usually do on a regular basis, so you can't sit up here and try and tell me you doing. It's like, no, usually you're doing this. So I know when you're not doing anything. Well, I'm not, okay, I sound a little crazy saying that. I don't mean it like that. I just mean like when you meet, and Caitlin's laughing because she already knows how I am, but I just feel like when you meet someone, especially in the beginning, I always say like, there is no point, I guess they trying to do the whole impressing you type thing, but when you're meeting someone, you're setting up a pattern, and I take notice to those patterns. I see how you are, how you act, those types of things. So when you get comfortable and you then tend to, all right, well, it's what she be all right. Like that's for me is a problem. It's like start out how you're gonna be, so that way I can quickly get my bags and go, or decide that I'm gonna stay. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah.
So I just have a question. Do you think like our generation, like when it comes to relationships, like our standards are low? Because I've seen like a couple times where it's like, especially on TikTok, where it's a girl, she's like, oh my gosh, he opened the door for me on our first date. Like, I know this may be too much. Well, I don't think it's too much, but I expect that. I know I expect him to open the door for me, my car door, the door to the restaurant, and like it'd be nice. And I would kind of expect it, but if he doesn't, like I expect him to pay for my meal. But if he doesn't, that's cool because I'm always have my money on me. But like that's extra points if he does. Like that's extra brownie points. So do you think like now our standards are low?
I'm very old school when it comes to that as well. So I do appreciate the, oh yeah, open my door for me. I'm not saying like every time. I understand like even for me, I'd be like, okay, like you don't have to open my door, like I got it. But it's just also like just when we going out and for those special occasions, it's like it's expected. For our standards being low, I'm not sure. I don't know, because I feel like in the past, like women were expected, I mean, just going back to what was expected of women to just cook, clean, and then that's about it. I'm expecting, like, of course I'll be able to cook and clean, but like I expect my dude to be able to cook sometimes. Like if I don't feel like cooking, pamper me up too. Like I want it to be like a two-way street basically. So, I have you, you have me in both in all aspects. So I don't know. I think those are kind of higher expectations, but what do you guys think?
I think, I mean, I think as a generation, yeah, I feel like maybe our standards are, maybe I wouldn't say necessarily low, maybe a little different. Like some people they expect like financially, some people, not personally me, but the culture of like, oh, he gonna pay for everything, oh, he gonna pay for me and my friend, like all of that, which for me is a little bit a lot. But me personally, I do believe in being just a genuine gentleman. I feel like with being a gentleman does come, like the opening the doors, the sometimes you're taking me out, paying. I don't mind splitting the bill sometimes, but if you're not my friend, like I expect you to sometimes take the bill, those types of things, and having those man characteristics. But I feel like overall I'm a pretty unconventional female, because like, well, you said cooking and clean, like I can't even cook. So it's like, I plan on working long hours, my profession. I plan on not really having much time to so it's kind of just going to be like the person for me is going to have to understand that and be a little bit more unconventional with stuff. But so yeah, I think we're just different. Our generation is just different.
Yeah, I don't know if our standards have gotten higher or anything. I just know that in 2020, anything is possible. Everything and anything goes. There's no exceptions to anything. So every situation is different, everybody is doing what they want and they're living their best lives how they want to live their best lives. And this one person on the right might have super high standards, and then the next person doesn't have much standards at all, and they're cool with it and nobody cares. Like, that's just 2020.
Yeah. Okay, so my last question is, how do you feel like, do you think Like, how do you feel about males having a problem with females making more money than them? Like, I personally think, because this is a good topic, I hear about this a lot, but I think, like, it shouldn't matter. If I'm making more money than you, it shouldn't matter. You shouldn't be feeling the type of way. You shouldn't be feeling like, oh, my ego is like, was ripped up to shreds. We're happy. I'm happy. You're happy. You got what you want. I got what I want. So, like, I don't think it should matter.
I don't really, me personally, all I ask for is if I don't have a job, that you have enough to support us. So if I'm down, we'll still be up because at the end of the day, you got us. But now, if you making less than what's going to support us, I got a whole issue and some more. Like, it's a whole problem. And yes, if that's the fact, you should definitely be doing something more. So it's not necessarily that you have to make more than me, but you need to make enough, at least enough to support us if I wasn't around to be able to do anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the man's responsibilities. I mean, I feel like men be placing the testosterone energy, that's what I call it, when they're like overly masculine and all that for no reason. It's just like, I call it that testosterone energy, and I feel like they be placing it in the wrong places. It's like, as a man, it's your job to provide, like, well, like Mia said, if, something happened and I couldn't work, for you to have the family. So I also, in the same place Shania was, is that I don't really care as far as who's making more money, as long as you're able to financially support us if something were to happen.
I wish we had the men on here. We were really supposed to have Chris and Kadeem on here. I would have loved to see or heard the men's perspective and, like, do they really get bothered when that happens? So maybe we should, like, do an Instagram survey or something. I'm curious.
Yeah, me
That'd be
too.
interesting.
I think, I don't know. We should figure out some way to do that though, like an Instagram
Like poll.
or something, and have people answer in the comments and stuff.
But I don't know. The mental health, that plays a lot in our everyday life. No matter who is with, family, friends, dating. Overall, it plays a complete huge role. That's even our health. If our mental isn't together, our health starts decreasing. I remember I was going through like a really, really rough patch a few years ago, and because my mental was nowhere to be found, I couldn't even find that thing. Like, it was completely gone. I was sick, super sick, in the hospital at least one time out of a week for like 3 months straight. And I'm telling you, at least once a week. It was that bad. Lost about 30 pounds and everything. Had realized that's when I found out I could have seizures. Didn't even know that my health could get that bad where I could start having seizures, going to the ER and everything. And so I realized that your mental health is so important, because if that's gone and your stress starts to go up, you start getting sick. And once your body starts giving out on you, that's all you have. What are you doing if you don't have your health together? Like, you can't do anything. I was calling off from work almost every day. That's not making money. I couldn't do anything. And so that's just important. We gotta really protect ourselves and be mindful about who we are around and who we have helping us out, and just being in our environment all together. And we need to make sure that we keep our health intact, eating the right things, going in non-toxic environments, and just protecting ourselves at all costs, because that's all we have at the end of the day is ourselves.
Just a quick, I was in, I'm gonna sound like a nerd here, nerd alert. But I was in my physiological psychology class, and we were talking about the effects of chronic stress, like on the brain. And one thing I found really, really interesting was like the hippocampus, which has to do a lot with like memory and those types of things. With like chronic stress, it causes that section of your brain to get like smaller, and that affects kind of like your decision making and everything. So just going back to what Nia was saying, like literally if your mental health is not right, it causes problems within side of your brain, and that causes problems outside, on the outside of your body. So it's really important, to really take priority. It's your mental health first over everything. Well, God, and then mental health first, like seriously, you know what I'm saying? So
Facts. Y'all have any closing statements or anything that y'all want the people to know? Any advice or anything like that?
YOLO, live your life.
And put you first. Put yourself first.
Protect your energy, boundaries, set them.
Absolutely. We all have to have boundaries. We all have to have standards, protect ourselves, love ourselves first, you know what I'm saying? And live your life to the fullest, because we're on this earth for only a certain amount of time. And it's like, who wants to be here dwelling on anything, upset, unhappy that you're even here, like unhappy about things that we can't change? There's no point in that. I feel like we're here for a purpose. Find that purpose, figure it out, and live your life to the best of the ability, and whatever that is. Whatever that is. So, what are we gonna be talking about next week?
I think we have down the new year. So mental health going into the new year, how to prepare, and yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, definitely. So next week we're gonna be talking about how, well, actually, when we post this, we're gonna already be in the new year. So
Start the year off, right? I guess in that sense. I mean, I still feel like it'll be the beginning of the year, won't it? Or no, it'll be like,
yeah, I guess we just won't say going into the new year, but how to mentally have a great new year. I don't know, something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it was mainly like how to have those resolutions that people make, the goals and stuff, and keep your mental health like yeah.
All right, cool. That sounds good. I can't wait till next week then. That should be a good topic, and we're going to definitely try to get some men on here, because I love to hear men's opinions as well. So I'm trying to get our marketing coordinator and all that stuff on here. See how that goes. Thanks everybody for joining us.
no problem. This is great.
Yeah, cool conversation. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'm gonna stop recording. Let me see.